UAP are airborne objects that, when encountered, cannot be immediately identified. With regard to the importance of transparency, the Department is fully committed to the principle of openness and accountability to the American people.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing. The video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera.
Well, I would say, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert. You're the guys investigating it. I mean, who else is doing it?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. This is UFO We Want to Know. Before I begin my show, I'd like to say, as I always do, this is dedicated to those who have been ridiculed, dragged through the mud, and made fun of for the last 75 plus years. I have 5 craft that I'd like to show you today. I have 25 photos in all because I enlarge the craft because they're so far away. So we want to begin with the first photo. Now, you're not expected to see anything in this photo here because it's way up there in the very right corner. It's so far up, I almost missed it. But by going through my photos, I actually caught this one. The second photo, you're going to be able to see it more clearly. And as we go through this, I'm going to get more clarity and more clarity. I enlarge the picture because you have to be able to see it to believe it, because most people would think it's part of the clouds. Next photo. As you can see, you're starting to see something other than a cloud. Ladies and gentlemen, there is form to this. There is dimension to it. Next photo. It doesn't lose its shape, does it? This is not a cloud. This is a craft, a UFO. Obviously, it's an unidentified flying object. It's not some paper bag flying in the air. It is an object. On the next photo, we're going to show you some discolorment. And that's because I use my filter system. Now, the darkness doesn't necessarily mean density in the ship itself, but look at the ship. As it got larger and larger, it kept its shape. It didn't change. It stayed the same, which is very important because I've had people tell me, well, as you blow things up, you get distortion. Of course you get distortion, but again, look at the shape. It doesn't change. It is illuminated. The last photo on this particular one is going to show even more discolorment, and that's because I went deeper with the filter. Again, it kept its shape. And if you look from the tip of it to the back of it, from the very first photo, actually I should say the second, we couldn't really see the first, it never lost that funny tail in the back. It looks like a offset tail. Now this is an aircraft far away because I've taken high-flying passenger jets, Air Force airplanes, cargo planes, and you can distinctly see the tail, and you can see the wings. This is nothing like I've taken when I take the shots of airplanes or jets. So with that, all I want to say is that if you believe that this is a UFO versus an airplane, I think you'd be correct. Moving on to the second UFO that we want to look at today. This one is on near your middle left side above that laser. That's my laser that goes 26 miles. Now, when I was doing the laser, I didn't see this craft. I just shot my laser up, not knowing what I was going to get. On the next picture, you're going to see something interesting. It's a blow-up of it. This is what was up there near the laser. Interesting, because it's illuminated. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't in the daytime. This ship was at night, because I don't use my lasers at night during the day. I use it at night. It was actually taken at 12:05 a.m. in the morning on August 7th, in, of course, Pahrump, Nevada. Next photo. Gets a little distorted there, but if you look real close, you can almost see the cockpit. What I think is a cockpit is not the bulbous areas to the left, but just in near the center. It's got an indentation there, which I find that very interesting, because this ship looks like it would be coming towards me. You need to make up your own mind what you're seeing here. I'm not showing you photos of things that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm showing you photos in the past week, the past month, but within this year. Sometimes I'll show you 2022s, because there's a slight difference between the ships I took back then and the ships I take today. And I want to make that point very clear. I get these UFOs every single day. And I just want to make a note for you viewers for next week. I'm going to actually show you videos of UFOs. And I'm going to show you how you can get these UFOs yourself. Doesn't take a lot. I simply do it with my phone, and I get these UFOs. But I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself. You can go out and you can experiment and write in and let us know what you've got. Next photo. Ladies and gentlemen, you really can't see too much here. Again, this is the original photos, and I always try to put the original photos first. There are 3 objects to the left. You're going to see a whole bunch of stars out there, but on the left side, this was facing south. Like I said, there's a lot of stars out there, and these 3 particular objects were not shaped like stars. Next photo. It is a blow-up of it, and you can actually see 3 stars on the bottom of the 3 larger objects on top. This gives you an idea. These are elongated craft, and as we go through here, you're gonna see differences in these 3 elongated craft. I moved the picture around when I was trying to give you a better visualization of it. This is taken August 13, 2023 at 11:01 p.m. Next photo. A little bit closer picture of these 3 objects. Again, you get a little blurriness as you blow things up, but I can only do what I can do with the software I have that comes with my phone. Sometimes I'll put it on my computer, and sometimes it does a better job, but most of the time I get better resolution with using my phone with 200 megapixels. On the next photo, you're going to see what I've been talking about as far as the change in these 3 objects. The objects, this was one of 2 photos that I took of these 3 objects. And on the last one, you'll notice that they're different. They're in a different position. That's because they were separating. You had, it seemed to have 2 going west and 1 going what looks like east. And it's important for you to know that these craft have a mission. And the mission here is what? We don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to know. Next photo. We've got 3 photos of this. We're going to show you closer views. And there's only 1 image, but as we get closer, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You have to really pay attention when you're taking photos of these objects. It's very important because you can miss something very easily. So what I do is when I go through it, I go through the top, I go across, go down, and that's how I find these objects. So many people have erased photos or images, whatever you want to call them, over the years because they think there's nothing in them. when there is. Next photo. This is what was up there in the tree line, just coming over the tree line. Interesting enough, this photo shows you that this craft was either coming apart or going in two different directions. Another picture that I had of it, I wasn't sure if it was the same photo of it, but it was taken on July 21st, 2023 at 10:07 p.m. Interesting that this UFO, like I said, I'm not exactly sure if it was coming apart or coming back together again. You can look at that for a minute and know that that's not a star. If it was, the star below it would be elongated along with it. So this object, whatever it was, and according to the speed of my camera, was basically what you see here. One solid mass without any blur to it. As you can see below it, the star, it's solid. The argument to most people would be that it's a streak. And that would be the argument to a lot of people. The next photo. Can you see what I'm talking about as far as detail? There's no streaking around this object. It's solid. It's very solid. I have two more photos that we're going to show you after the break. And I think you're going to find both photos very interesting. I don't take photos and just say, well, let's just throw this one in as a filler. I don't do that. I put pictures in there because I feel that I have substance and the photos have substance. These are UFOs, ladies and gentlemen, and they're constantly flying over your head. We'll be back after this commercial break. We're back. Before the break, I told you I have two more photos. Actually, I say two more UFOs. A couple of photos after that. I do have blow-ups. So the next photo we want to go through is my house. Actually, it's on the bottom left is my house, facing north. Now, a newfound friend of mine that I met at the World Market Center saw this and said that it looked like the evil Klingon battle cruiser. So on the next photo, you're going to be able to see what he was talking about. Now, I looked up the so-called Klingon battle cruiser, and from the cruiser coming towards you, it does kind of look like it. So I guess he's one of these Trekkies, and that's okay. Next photo is a little bit larger. Okay, as you can see it. This is taken on July 20th, 2023 at 11:08 p.m. in Pahrump, Nevada. Write in and tell me what you think this looks like. This is clearly a UFO. It was up in the sky. And this photo here was also facing north. So interesting that these objects are there and people don't see them. Now, I have talked to quite a bit of people lately, and they've told me that they've seen lights in the sky in a triangle shape coming over certain mountains around Pahrump. And I use my GPS, and I also use my compass while looking for anomalies in my daily view for UFOs. And I'm going to be doing some mapping to find out where these mountains are that people say they're there almost every night. Now in Pahrump it's quite dark, so you're going to be able to see things you can't see in, say, Las Vegas with all the lights that they have there. But I like it more and more when people are coming up to me and they're telling me, hey, I saw this, I saw that. Can you try to find this light that we're seeing and put it on the air? I will be doing that in future videos. I have to figure out where they're at, as I said before. Next photo and last photo. This one here is an interesting one. Now, I'm not exactly sure you're going to be able to see too much of it. Is on the very top, near the center of it. Now, this photo here is facing northeast, which would be in the Area 51 S4 area. Taken on July 3rd, 23rd, 2023 at 10:10 p.m. And this is going to be one of 6 photos of the same craft. Next photo is a clearer picture of it. In every photo, I changed the background to get a better image. I think it's so important. If you blow up something over and over and over and don't change the background, you're going to lose your viewers. As you can see, there are many stars in this photo. And as we go on, the stars are disappearing because I'm getting closer and closer, as the next photo will show you. Here, there's only 2 visible stars, almost 3. But you can still see the stars. The next photo, please tell me if this is not a UFO. If not, what is it? Now, I will tell you this. I was talking to a friend of mine just yesterday, and he told me it looked like a streak. Okay, a streak of what? I don't know. He wasn't clear on it. Next photo. Does that look like a streak to you? You got a star on the bottom and you got one on the top. Now, this image isn't the first time I've taken a photo of this particular craft. I do have another one very, very similar to this. But I thought, because I can get a little bit more clarity out of this one, I wanted to show this one. On the very last photo, I darkened the background to see if you can't get more clarity out of it. What do you think this is? Write in on UFOWeWantToKnow@gmail.com. Let us know what you think it is. No matter how good a photo like this one, scientists will undoubtedly say there's inconclusive data. Again, let me know what you think. It is so important because I spent probably about close to 100 hours putting this program together. And I know that may not sound like a lot, but there's a lot of detail that you have to present in order to let your audience know that I'm catching these UFOs every single day and night. And I can't stress this enough, that at the government level, they're putting together programs. Okay, you had Project Sign, you had Project Grudge, you had Project Blue Book, you had the Robertson Report, you had the Condom Report. On all those programs, we, the taxpayer, never knew how much money the government put into those programs. And each person who was in charge of those programs never ever disclosed how much money was spent. That, ladies and gentlemen, should be against the law, because it is our money, it is taxpayers' money, and we have a right to know what was spent. Now, all those programs that I just announced, we didn't get anything out of any of those programs. Project Blue Book, they said that there was a number of the reports that were inconclusive, but using the word inconclusive or not enough data, that's not an answer. If you're going to be spending taxpayers' money, get to the bottom line. What are we seeing? What are you analyzing? How are you analyzing it? Then we got to ATIP. And the only reason we found out that that was a $22 million taxpayers' dollars bill was because Senator Harry Reid was not afraid to tell the journalist who was giving the interview that's how much he put into the program, $22 million. What did we get out of the $22 million, taxpayers? What did we get? Nothing any closer than what the congressional hearings put together. Which brings me to the next step. You have the next program that we have, and it is the Arrow program, okay? In my mind, another joke program. Are we ever going to find out how much money we're putting into that program? Because they've hired a Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. Doctor of what? I don't know. It's not clear. I don't pay too much attention to people who should stick to their profession and not get into the UFO phenomenon when they are non-believers. And clearly this gentleman is a non-believer. He had 800 photos and videos to look at, and still it's inconclusive. Another one. Okay, that's a new word for me, and I'm using it a lot because I don't like it, but I have to use it because that's what they use. According to Mr. Kirkpatrick, the phenomenon, whether we feel that they're UFOs or airplanes or drones or whatever it may be, they're still investigating it. How long they're going to investigate it, I don't know. I don't put too much credence in them. The program that they put together is the Old Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. That's supposed to be Arrow, and it's something that I can't get my mind clear of. These people, they went to school for years and years to get their PhDs, their doctorate, and now they're UFO specialists. I don't get it. I simply don't get it. If you are sick and tired of being given the information that they give you, oh, we're going to investigate this, we're going to be transparent, and we're going to tell the American people what we're going to come up with and how we're going to show this to you and this and that. A whole bunch of baloney. They get me so upset I just can't really talk very good. It's a bunch of baloney. How many years has this gone on? Since the Roswell incident, when they first lied about the weather balloon thing. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't usually go back too far back, but one thing they never cleared up. To this day, they never cleared up. They called it a mogul balloon. It was to detect Soviet blast on the other side of the world. How does a balloon make a gouge in the ground? A 20 by 40 foot gouge. How does that happen with a balloon? Doesn't make any sense. And lastly, I found an article I thought was really interesting. I thought I'd read this at the end. Newsmen have long contended that the initials NASA stands for Never a Straight Answer. I thought that was beautifully written myself. And on the last one of the occasions, a high-ranking space official was publicly called to account by reporters, consisting of telling the stories that NASA's putting out about they're going to be doing a program to look for UFOs, and I believe it's a 19-member panel. I believe there's 19 of them, and they're all PhDs. Oh, that's great to have 19 PhDs, but that's not what they went to school for. They went to school to learn their profession, whatever it may have been. So what I'm saying to you, the taxpayers, is if you're sick and tired of the government spending your taxpayers' dollars on programs, we have a right to know. NASA has not come clean on the space shuttle UFOs that they've caught and any of the comments that the astronauts had made through the years, that they have a bogey at 10 o'clock. What's a bogey doing in outer space? They never have come clean with those. And some of these astronauts are since passed, so we're never going to know because we can't talk to them. I'd like to know what you think. Please write in at UFOWeWantToKnow@gmail.com. My name is Joseph, and I'll see you next week. Have a great evening.